Well, welcome back everybody. This is Turning 4 and today we are going to put on a bumper. I purchased a bumper on the Amazon website and it's likely the cheapest bumper on the Amazon website. If you look here, weighing it at probably 50 pounds. Yeah, 50 pounds, 60 pounds. This is the cheapest, 100% Chinesian made, somewhat powder coated with cornflakes or something painted black. But it is a shorty bumper that I got off of there. I think it costs like 180 to, I don't know, 180, 200 bucks. Probably the cheapest one you can get on there is the cheapest one. I have purchased one of these before and they're actually not too bad underneath here. As you can look, they do have some structure underneath through a winch because we're going to put a winch on this too. And they actually take, I mean, you can tell it's pretty thin, but the bends and the welds, I guess, are fairly on the right spots to make it strong. We can mount our fog lamps in here, our stock ones. If this comes out, as you can see, these cuts and stuff, it's got little chunks hanging out, so we may have to do some stuff there too. Got to, excuse me, buy extension wires for our, which I have, for our fog lamps, but everything goes through here. I did have to paint a little bit on here because, again, the cornflake coating here that they have pretty much just came off in the box. There's powder everywhere in here, chunks of it that have came off. So I just took some plastic coat and shot it over there for now, just keep it from rusting. Probably go back and bed liner it or something. Anyway, we've got two of those mounts on the front of it. On the bolt pattern, the 4 bolts go through. They utilize the same basic, supposed to, we'll see, the same holes as the original bumper as far as the bolt pattern. And they send these, I'm guessing, anyway, these cheap bolts that we're going to have to replace. You're going to have to find some more hardware because these things are like, I don't know, silver painted Twizzlers or something that, you put any torque on these things and all they're going to snap off. I mean, they are definitely soft. I think I dented one dropping it on the freaking concrete here just a second ago over cardboard, so tells you about how solid it is. It has a front bar we may or may not use right here. I don't know. I went to the shorty. We'll see how it looks. I got a winch coming, as I said, and I'll show you. We'll go through that too, putting it on. But anyway, I don't know whether I'm going to run this bar or not. It's got some light mounts on it. I don't use those. Anyway, for 200 bucks, we'll see what we can do on here. See if holes line up. I know my other one I did buy one of these previously, excuse me, on another one, and it seemed to line up all right. Didn't really get on it much for pulling anything. But everything seemed to line up fairly well. And I'll take you underneath with me and kind of show you what you're looking at for bolts and stuff. I know a lot of you guys probably have done this 100 times or not. Even if you haven't, I'll show you real quick. And even if this will work, you know, if you mash your bumper and you want another stock bumper or whatever, let me show you how to do this. Mine does not have the wiring hooked up here, so obviously they've had a different bumper on here because it has a couple different plugs that will not mate up. I did buy new plugs. I'm just going to cut the end off since they've already wired in some different light plugs. I'm going to clip them off, just use that extension, tie into my regular wiring so I can use these. But if I remember correctly, I could not use the stock wiring because it was a little bit short. So you will need to buy extensions, and I think they're like, I want to say $12, $13 for the pair on Amazon. For just a second, I'm going to go ahead and take the camera off there, get you underneath, and I'll find out what socket we need. I'll get you up in there with the camera and a light and show you what we're doing here to get this off. All right, so we'll take you under here. The orientation of these bolts is about right underneath here because they actually hold this your hooks in as well. And on this one, these persons that had a bumper on here, owned this thing before, were nice enough to as you can see, let me get you some light in here. there's those 2 bolts you're looking for. So just, you know, to the right and the left of that hook. But the persons that own this are one of the 2 owners in here. As you can see up in there, they were nice enough to put this bumper on and leave off the bolts that were hard to get to. So that's always a good idea, you know, for them to, if you can't get to something, just leave them off. I mean, there's 4, all he needs 2, so, you know, just leave them off for the next guy to kill himself when he hits something. There's 2 there. This is on the opposite side on the passenger. There's 2 there and 2 there, and that's literally all that's holding this on. On mine, of course, I've soaked them down in there. This has been off before, obviously, but I soaked them down with some penetrating oil for just a little bit on there, depending on how long your vehicle's been around, what you've been doing with it. 2 there that I'm taking off. 2 that are already off on the inside. 2 on the outside on the driver, and just the same, which these are a little bit rough to get to. 2 in there. Now, the fog lamps, as you can see, there's the backs of the plugs on those fog lamps. So if you have fog lamps, you will have to unplug those, just a pinch style, you know, pinch down on the lever on the plastic and pull off. May or may not have that little red lock that you just have to snap back first. On most, these are not long enough. These wires, as you can see, mine, I'm gonna have to do wiring on mine anyway, but they're not long enough to reach on that bumper. They're just offset enough, or they're just too short. We're gonna go ahead and take these bolts out, and we will get this bumper up, and I'll show you more, get it off of here. I did fail to mention on those bolts, 18 millimeter. I tried standards. I mean, everything's sloppy. 18 millimeter is what you'll need for this. I do have a 1/2 inch on this. Extension probably on that inside. You go over the short socket or long socket, and maybe if you use something like this, a wobble in there, because it's not the easiest to get to on those inside bolts, which in this situation was very helpful to me, because it's not going to take as long to get them off. But yeah, not a good idea to leave bolts out if you can keep from it. Things here are tinny. Man, they were tight, that's for sure. But I would say these are impact built here. I don't know what these are to be torqued to. I'll put my knee into it. They're pretty solid. They are pretty stout. If you do have an air ratchet or something like that, that would definitely help out here. I like throwing out my shoulders, hurting my wrist. A little workout. If you don't get your back into things and your arms and your shoulders, how are you going to complain to people about how hard you worked and how bad it hurts? Using air tools or electric, you don't get to do that. Point, if you have a friend or something that can hold on to that and not let it drop on you, it'd probably be a good idea. So remember, when you take these out, sometimes these things will lean forward a little bit and then it's just going to fall off. I like trying to take it off on myself and get right up underneath it where I can let my hips and pelvis and stomach take the force when it falls off. That way I cushion it when it goes to the ground. We're gonna have these little collars on there too once you take those off. These are just backing plates that go on there, nut and nut. And we're not, like I said, they supplied a bunch of hardware with it. It's junk. So I'll go and I'm going to get some grade 8 hardware with some washers and stuff. I'll have to head and get that. You're more than welcome to use what they have there, obviously, but remember, you might actually use this, and it may just not be for pretty on the front of your vehicles. If you're going to use it, I definitely wouldn't use their stuff. I'm going to get out here, and if you do have the fog lamps and you do have them hooked up down here, you can reach underneath here and pop those plugs. You may not be able to see them real good, but you can feel. So pop those plugs out before you yank this thing off and tear your wiring out. Then, once you have those 8 bolts in your situation off, all you're gonna do is slide that off. It's that easy. This thing's lighter than what we got there. I mean, it's tin can with plastic over it too. So come on over here. I'll show you. Okay, so underneath here, this is what you're taking off. Those 4 bolts there. Those 4 bolts there. Again, as I said, the 2 are out there. It may take you a little longer. There's the back side of those fog lamps, and those 4 Torx mount into those holes over there. The Torx won't. Obviously, they have like nuts and bolts, little nuts and bolts to tie these on. But those are those plugs I was telling you about too that you'll have to take loose and extend. So right over here, this is a good time too to do a little painting. Do a little cleaning up, painting. This is, you may just do this once and never do it again since you're, putting a bumper on. If you're, it's just a good time to go over all this stuff. I did shoot I use VHT. You guys use whatever you want. I heat this, I heat that. Krylon, I tried some of that Krylon rust reformer or something that everybody was talking about, matches the frame. It's way too glossy. It goes on real nasty. I don't, it was globby. This VHT goes on, it's just a dry, hard paint. You can just tell. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's the right color for one. It's VHT. It's that, I think it's satin. It's a satin roll bar and chassis paint. So I put on, it's fairly expensive. I mean, I think I paid about $14 $14 for a spray can. But it goes a long ways and it does stay on. So, anyway, I'll clean this stuff up. We'll rough it up a little bit. I'll go ahead and shoot it before we put the other bumper on because we're here. We're here. There's no reason not to protect this thing. You wouldn't be spending money on bumpers and everything if you didn't like it. So, $14 rattle can and some SOS or something to scratch this off a little bit and blow it off is good. So this filler piece also will not be used. You cannot get this thing in on this. I remember on my other one when I did it, I could not use this, so you will have a little space there, big deal. I imagine you could trim it. You could probably trim this back. I'm not, because it doesn't look bad without. I've saw some comments on there with people purchasing these saying they wish they could use this or that. I mean, mine looks like trash anyway, but you can trim that probably and get it on. I'm gonna have to get some hardware to replace this I don't even want to call it crap because that would be too good for it. We'll put this in our bolt bin or whatever. We're going to get new stuff. We'll put it in the bolt bin, I say. Our can of bolts over there so I can put them on something else thinking they're going to hold, and then I break them off because I forget what they were. They're junk. There's a 4.8 on the end of that. So we'll get some grade 8 stuff. And look here. You really, really want a strong bar. This crossbar that I was telling you about on this. This hardware here, as you can see, these aren't even a 1/4 inch. That's what holds that bar on. So extremely, extremely strong. I mean, you really want to hook on this bar with something to drag on it. So it would definitely do the trick. We may just leave that off. I kind of like it. I like the shorty bumper. That's called shorties because this allows you to run big tires also. And as I said, you're gonna have to take that off because that will not stick. But as you can see, I mean, that really shortens it up. If you have big tires and you're having rubbing issues when you're turning, some people just hack that crap off. Some people run the Rubicon where you can unbolt. I have one on my other Jeep actually, the factory one that you can unbolt, that'll clear the tires. We do not have really that issue because I don't have big enough tires on this. We may at one point. This allows, you know, there's no cut. Plus I like the look. You get to see the tire if you're trying to get up on something, you're not hitting into the bumper. So you have room to get it, you know, there's extra room there. But it is a shorty. It weighs, this thing weighs more than what that does. I mean, that's, I guess, saying a little bit of something when you're putting it on, but, you know, you're gonna get a winch on here and drag on it. We'll get all this cleaned up, get some hardware, and we will try to continue on and see if our bowl alignment's right on this. Down here, as I was saying, these are not the plugs for those. This is what's supposed to be running at. These people have untaped, just some Walmart freaking plugs tied in here that they put on for this, which they must have had different light, because these connectors do not work on what we've got. The original, excuse me, the OEM fog lamps. So this is what I'll be replacing. There's one on each side. So fog lamps obviously don't work on this thing now, or haven't worked. So we will clip those off, do some decent wiring on this thing instead of this junk with our extensions, and I'll just clip one end off and we'll put on here. If you buy those extensions, they're going to have two ends. One end hooks to factory. The factory plug has a male to a female that hooks on the back of those fog lamps is how they come, and they're pretty good little connectors. So you just have to plug and play for those extensions. In my situation, they had a different plug on here. We're gonna have to clip that off, and we're gonna actually do some decent wiring with some heat shrink instead of this crap that's on here. I mean, it's on the front, it's getting sprayed, getting mud, everything else. Why would you think that that's the way to do things? I mean, I don't understand it, but it ain't me. This is what I do. I mean, I like to do things at least 4 or 5 times, you know, before I get it right, but this one I know is not right, so, you know, I'll try to do it the first time. Let me get some hardware. We'll get some new hardware, and we'll continue on. Just a pick and a tool here. You guys can use about anything. Take a little pad, that's a pad here. I'm gonna wipe this off so I don't run my pad right off the bat here. Get my juice. It's over here. Scuff everything. Pretty clean, not a lot of rust. Bought this down in Arkansas from a gentleman who didn't do a lot of mechanic stuff, didn't do a lot of Jeep stuff, which I don't, but I tried. I don't know, I guess I like that. I like my name being out there like that versus this thing's junk. Oh, look what he did here, kind of like what we're doing. Look what he did here, look at this stuff. I don't care for that. If I'm gonna pass this thing on to somebody, I take a little pride in my work, and I know it takes a little longer, but it lasts a little longer. Normally. You know those guys that can put the crappiest stuff together, can drive it for 100 years, I get it, and it quits the day I drive it. And I mean, that's, I guess learning from that is another reason why that I've done this. Try to do a good job. I don't know much, but I try my best. I keep reminding myself, this makes me nuts here. You guys watched some of the earlier stuff on this Jeep when I first got it. We were taking off this sticker around this grill. Bugs me, I mention about it every time I'm on here. And I tried to use that rubber buffing wheel. The only place on this grill, mostly, that is torn up is that, and that's from me. Instead of scraping everything off using alcohol like I finally did, it just took forever. Taking that off because these were broken that were in here, these little plastic junk ones that they put in. I pulled out that wheel and figured that wheel that's safe for all paint that I would use. And I've used it before on metal, and now I'm a little iffy on it. But anyway, touched it, bang, right through the paint. So do not use that on plastic. Maybe it says on there, I don't know. I thought it said you could use it on anything, but obviously not. So I ended up taking it all up by hand anyway, so that just, you know, I screwed up my grill and that, trying to cut corners. And I guess that's how you learn. So, and I learned so I can tell you guys you don't tear your crap up. You know, we'll do it on my bill, not yours, which is good. That's why we share information and try to help each other out, because I definitely need plenty of help. I know that sometimes. I hope to put these things on YouTube, so me being the guy that looks up all this crap, you know, trying to find this, trying to find that on other guys that are obviously smarter than me that have done this stuff, maybe some of this stuff will help you so you don't have to damage your stuff. And I'd like to be that guy that you're looking up on there to try to do this and try to do that. And well, hopefully I can help. So VHT, again, this VHT roll bar chassis, I like it. You can get it in a lot of places. I think you can get it at Walmart. AutoZone is where I got this. About the only thing I need to get there, but this stuff's good crap. Drives hard. Just give it a surface. Pull it off real good. And shoot it on there. This is what I do on my frames, everything. We did that front diff. I don't know if you remember I did it. Front diff, painting, anything interference, that's what I do. I take this, rough it up just a little bit, take off the excess crap that's on there, the dirt, the grime. I don't wipe it down with anything. I don't have any problems using with it fish iron or anything. Saying that, I got the TV on here, so it's probably good work. Better than these that I use. Give this some quick coats. Spray it down in your own floors. Doesn't take long to protect your stuff. A couple minutes. Plus it looks good. People be looking at this, obviously. When sitting around and look at your bumper and say, man, I haven't seen the bumper that crappy in a long time. And then they look at that new paint underneath. Say, well, at least he painted it when he put that $20 Chinese bumper on there. It's a little better than cardboard. I think we'll have a little better. That's about it. Hopefully it'll pull. We'll try to pull something with it, see if we can rip it off the front. Kind of get an idea whether it works or doesn't work. And yes, I have enough paint missing on that thing. That cornflake freaking whatever it is supposed to be. It's supposed to be coated with. It was all over in that. I'm sure we'll have to shoot it, but there's no sense in sending it back. You send it back, you get another one, it'll be just like that one. Probably more bent up and more scratched up and more of the powder coating off. So there's no sense in sending it back. It's a $200 bumper. I just was not going to spend $800 on a bumper for the front that I'll probably never use. I will be off-road. If we need to use that winch, great, but if it folds that freaking thing in half and the bolts stay on and I have to, get another one. As long as it does the job, I'm good. I know my winch will be good. If anything, I'll chain the thing down and do it. But they do look good. I do like the looks of it for now. We'll see what... Anyway, that's about as much as I'm going to do on this thing. I'm going to give it... This stuff is already flashed off. I mean, it's quick. Doesn't seem like it likes to run much. Either if you give it a nice coat set on first, as far as something for it to stick to. And I'm staying quite a ways back here. Anyway, I like the VHT. It lasts a long time. I mean, as far as the can goes a long ways, the paint seems to last a long time. It's a great match for the color. The satin one, you can't use flat, can't use gloss. So I think they have both of those too. But the satin on this, Really does well, I think. This will be exposed to, I don't know if this is a little vacuum, something with a vacuum there, I'm guessing, I don't know. I'd have to look it up, honestly. But anyway, this will be exposed from here, so that's why, I mean, not only am I protecting the same, but I know they're going to be seeing some of this stuff, so I want it. And yes, I turn my can upside down and spray what's out so it doesn't clog it up the next time. Some of the new paint cans will spray upside down, so you can't do that anymore. So they like for you to clog your nozzle so you can buy a new can the day after you just bought that new can and used hardly any of it. So then it's clogged for the next time you use it, you get to buy another can. But those normal ones like VHT, they're good. Okay, and while I'm letting that dry, now I'm going to go get some good hardware for this. And I might even we're gonna have to do this wiring beforehand because I really don't want to try to reach behind that bumper and do that, so we'll do that wiring prior to, and this time here I brought the Zoom. I'll cover up the made in China part, but it says 9005 PO33 64053. There's a J number on there. If you just get on Amazon, these are the Amazon's overall pick because I'm sure thousands of these get used. Overall pick, and it's the extension. I believe this is 18-inch extension, probably. The 18-inch extension for the fog lamps on whatever JK you have. I think they'll work on 2007 through 2018 mid, obviously where the change was. So female on one side, that's the side we'll need. And if you're just running an adapter, your female plug that's like this will adapt right up to this. We'll plug right in. But in our situation, we're gonna have to cut this wired in. I mean, even if it wasn't, this is such junk. Such a horrible job on these that we definitely need to take it off anyways. So I did already check, and you always want to check on these things. Check, make sure that female will fit on your fog lamps. And we'll have to install these fog lamps prior to. I know you guys can't see this right now, but I am just popping this down in there and checking real quick. And they do. They fit perfectly. So we'll use this female side. I'll probably just use most of this wire. I'll cut this off because I like to keep things like this. If I ever need this end, I've got it in there. And I just clip off enough that I can use it for something else. Kind of hoarder in that direction, I guess, on the electrical because it isn't cheap. Now, I'm just going to heat shrink this stuff. I don't butt connect. I actually twist wires together or solder them. I should be soldering. My soldering gun is on grid, so we are going to heat shrink. We're going to wire these together and just heat shrink them. I'm not going to get too crazy on that. And if you don't have some of these strippers, I think I got these at strippers. I think are on sale for like $2.99 at Harbor Freight right now. They seem to work. Red and yellow, I think they have them on there. And we have two different colors. But look at this. Let me see if I can get you in here just a little closer. Anyway, this is the wiring. Closer up here, this is the wiring right here. As you can see, it's been taped. This one actually has some connectors on it. Terrible. Exposed connectors, nothing on it. I mean, they did take one side, but still, obviously, there's metal right there. We can ground it out anytime on that. Got some good old Walmart connectors here. I see. Looks like you did butt connect this on here. Use some worst electrical tape they could find. I mean, this will get you, if you're out in the field, I would do this out in the field. I'd get this thing to be taped crazily. I mean, you can get away with this, obviously, but we're in here and kind of just want to do it one time. I don't keep stuff for long. Seems like I sell stuff pretty quick. I like working on it. So, that being the fact, I don't like to pass crap on to people. If it was just me and I was always using this, it probably wouldn't bother me quite as bad, I guess. I don't know, maybe I'm just that way. But when I'm passing this stuff on to somebody, and I know I'm going to be, because I'm not going to keep it forever, I keep nothing forever. I want to do a good job for somebody and for somebody to not have to worry about that stuff. You know, they pay good money for these things, and even if they're not, I mean, it's my name that goes on this. So I at least try to do the best I know. It's not always the best way, I understand that, but I at least try and do my best on this stuff. Those are, when you use butt connectors, yeah, they are. You get butt connector and get the heat shrink type. Heat them up, you know, have a sleeve on it, and then slide your sleeve for your heat shrink over. Put some heat shrink. That's pretty good repair. Twisting these wires, I like to solder them and then just throw heat shrink over them because it seals them out. These things do nothing but, if you get water in there, all they do is hold it. They hold water and let it corrode. Instead of, even if it was bare and it was wet and, you know, drying off after, these hold the water in, so they cause the corrosion to go even faster, so they're worthless. You're actually doing a worse repair than this. I think I'm gonna I'll probably just take so many inches off, that way I can use this connector. I think that'll be enough. These do have cutters on the backside too. So we'll clip that off because we're using this end. Make sure you're cutting the right end if you're doing this. You won't be cutting, probably you'll just be plugging it in. But if you do, make sure you're putting your long end on that, or you'll be doing another wiring job on it, because you'll have to splice in. We're just gonna run this is a white with red, black's black. We're running ground on that side, so I'm guessing. Not even sure in this aspect if it even matters, but that's what we're doing. Stripping back some. I'm gonna find some heat shrink here that fits, and looks like I've used everything out of this. So it's bad about buying these kits. It seems like you use one size in here on everything. So I tried to buy the boxes with all the rolls in it, but I think I'm out of that as well. And you get the boxes on Amazon if you know what size you're using, and buying one of those kits and looking is a good way to figure out which size, and to just buy that size. So you're not paying all that money just to use one size. Man, I may be out of. Let's see what these. I really like the next size down to this. That's bigger. Maybe out of luck on the size heat shrink I need. I need to go get some more if that's the case, obviously. We'll see what a chunk does here, because I'm not going to put this thing together if we're just going to use too big a wire, or too big of heat shrink on this wire if it won't shrink up. So let me do a little spot here and see. You guys can use a heat gun, whatever, on this stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with heat shrink, but that's heat shrink, just rubbery, and you slide it over, heat it up, and it shrinks down the size of the wire, seals everything out. See, what I'm trying to see here is if this is too big to shrink down. It kind of does look like it, so I may have to get some more of this too. I use flame just for the heck of it. It doesn't matter. Burn less things down if you use a heat gun, I'm sure, but I've just always used this. And yeah, that's a little big. That's a little big, so I'm not doing myself any favors by using it, so I'm gonna have to get some more heat shrink. I thought I had plenty more of this somewhere. Okay, let's look here. Yeah, there's some 5/16 and some 1/4. I think this is, and this is from, looks like I got this from the Hobo Freight as well. I think this is 1/4 inch as well. I may have to go I'm gonna have to make a stop because that's what I'm trying to use is 1/4 inch. I'm gonna have to have something smaller than that. We will be waiting. I'm gonna go get some hardware, go get this stuff. I'll go ahead and strip this thing back too. This one's real fun looking here, if you can see it. Really short on this side. Pop that out. Clip these junk wires off. Try to save as much wire as we can here. The factory. Same thing on this. I'm going to go black, red to the red and white stripe. Here, like I said, I don't know in particular if it even really makes a difference, but that's what I'm doing. Strip this back. I give myself enough room here because I'm going to actually just tie this into itself since I am not soldering it. In reality, it needs to be soldered. I mean, you can use butt connectors and stuff, but just to make a good sound connection, it actually needs to be. I'll probably leave that frayed. Anyway, there's your two on here. We'll put the extensions on, strip them back. Now, I'm gonna have to have some heat shrink because I gotta slide that over first. Can't apply it after. And I said wrong, these are actually, if you go to, I think they're on sale for like $2.99 right now. These are the actual ones from Harbor Freight. It's got a cutter back there and it's got some strippers. Now's a good time because they're cheap. And you can actually crimp here. They got some pliers. They're not very good on the crimping side here, but on the stripping side, they do pretty good. And the cutter, they're a little bit, those are pretty tight. These are some other ones I picked up. These are actually Southwire. Any of these, $2.99, buy a pair, buy 2 or 3 pair. If they go to crap on you, get some more. You know, use the next pair. They're cheap enough. That's cheap enough. You can buy 3 or 4 of them before you can even get to the cost of one set at a normal place. They're not great, but they work. So I'm gonna go get some hardware. I'm gonna go get some heat shrink, and I'll be back. We'll finish that, and then we can start getting further on that bumper. Okay, so I made a bolt run and got some heat shrink for that wiring. So we'll go ahead and throw that stuff in real quick. Heat shrink these. This old heat shrink's getting expensive these days if you just buy from the local store. I ended up just running up to Atwood's because it was close. And got some, I used 3/16 on this. I didn't have any 3/16. So we got. Oh, it's better, so we'll just cut a couple of pieces of this. 4 to be exact. I'm sure it'll come up just a little short here. We're gonna have a little too much. Four pieces of this were like 4 pieces of this heat shrink was like $4. Probably get 10 foot of it online for about the same amount. But quicker, closer, we don't have to wait for it, and I guess we're supporting local businesses. So I'm going to slide a couple of pieces of heat shrink on here. Right here we're going to take 2 again, red and black. There's nothing to this. Really nothing to it if you guys have the lights already hooked up. So what I did is just go on here. I put a little bit of a twist in this. Twist this together once, that way it's got strength and we'll back it up. I just roll it over, that way there's no sharp edges out. Same thing on this side. Just twist through this, kind of make a knot on one of these. Right or wrong, this way I've always done. I've never had any issues with anything. I like to solder if I can. You guys obviously are just using the connectors on here. Just skip past this. This doesn't apply. I just run those out smooth, that way we don't have any sharp edges when we do go over this, that it's going to poke through the plastic or anything, but just a quick, I'll get my stuff to fire up here. Got a heat gun or lighter or whatever, this will work good. I've got some stuff blowing over here, so this is not wanting to do as well. Typically be blowing my flame. Okay, that one's on. That's all there is to that. Let that cool just a bit. Make sure the ends are shrank. Again, this I use 3/16 on this because it works best as far as the size. Get that about in the center and fill center that knot that we made. Kind of roll this over. Get it hot on all sides. Just put that flame on one side, it's just going to kind of shrink one side, so make sure you get all the way around these. That's good enough for that. We'll get a couple more pieces we cut. Do this side. Get our connector. You could throw some plastic wire guard on there if you want. I don't know, I don't like that stuff. I've seen it where it shakes around, it just works like sandpaper and cuts right through the coating on the wire, and you have wiring issues from that. I know they do that factory on stuff, but really that stuff just like a cheese grater on wire. If you've ever been in the one where it's been on there for a long time, something's shaking, I mean it cuts, sands right through the coating on wire. I've got some other stuff that's some braided on there, but the ends want to fray. Tried to burn the ends. I don't do caps on the ends. I guess you could tape them and stuff. They'll probably last for a long time until the tape comes off. But we're just going to do this. We might throw some stuff up in there later. I don't know. But this will give us the ability to at least get our bumper put on. We won't have to do any wiring underneath. I'm trying to do wiring underneath that bumper. And if you are cutting into this and doing this extending these instead of just buying connectors, because your connectors are okay, you might it might be a good time to test the fog lamps on this. Make sure you have power and everything after you've done your wiring here. I'm going to just say I did and go on forward. I feel confident enough about this. If not, I'll be doing it again underneath. Okay, we'll clear some stuff out here. We need to get here's our new hardware, grade 8 from this junk. And the thing is about this junk, excuse me, it should not be metric, which I assumed it would be. It's not metric, it's 1/2 by 13. But if you put it on there and you check it with anything that is 1/2 by 13, it won't really, it'll thread into 1/2 by 13, but it's real loose. Tried 7/16, obviously wouldn't go in there, tried metric sizes. So basically what they've done is like the 2x4 of today, they've, say it's a 2x4, but they shaved just enough off to save some steel and put it as thin as possibly can be to make it feel like it still threads on and holds. But these are good, they're soft for one thing, and then they strip because it doesn't set down in it far enough into the thread, so they're junk. We just won't use them. These might be a little bit bigger, not fit through the hole. We may have to take some of their frosted flake coating off here, which should be easy enough. And they aren't, so we're gonna have to run something through this. On this plate, I think is the only place you're gonna have to. Everything else seems to fit, but in this plate here, that's actually the facial plate and the strength that goes over that, those will not fit through. So we're gonna have to just run a drill through there real quick and clean those out. I assume I could probably just run through this, but I'm gonna go ahead and go through a drill. That coating on that is so crappy that, I mean, it doesn't hold anything. We'll probably go later on here, probably just do some bed liner or something of that effect we'll probably end up doing on this thing, or because that crap's not going to hold up. I mean, it hold up maybe for your everyday drive until it flakes off, but we're obviously going to bang around a little bit probably, and since they didn't supply real bolts, nothing will fit through there. And sometimes these bolts, it looks like they did elongate these finally on the bumper because they were complaining. I guess I saw a lot of the information on there was complaining about things not fitting, as far as bolt holes not being lined up so things wouldn't fit. So it looks like they elongated that, and we'll just get something big enough to, I guess probably, I should read here and just do a 1/2 inch on that, on the size. I just need to go one step bigger, it feels like, which is probably going to be my biggest one that we're going to have to just clean that out. Just a little bit, shouldn't take too much. Hopefully our chuck will go up that big, it should, yep. And we'll see. Yep, that's going to be just big enough. I think we go up to 1/2 inch is our biggest that we go up. So anyway, I'm going to just elongate these holes, try to take half the meat off my hand when I'm doing this, because I'm going to hold it. If you guys are doing this, you might want to hold on to something, get overboard, whatever. But I'm just going to try to run through this real quick. It'll probably try to flip, and I'll end up doing that anyway. We just need to make it big enough, which is probably, like I said, that coating that they've got on, and it is. We're just knocking off the coating. If this thing bites, it's going to try to break my hand. That'll be good. But we are just, like I said, just enough to take off, just a 1/2 inch, just ran it through. If you don't have a 1/2 inch, you can probably just jam the bolt right through there, and it'll make it anyway. That'll work for us. We'll do that to both sides real quick. Make sure we got, I'm not gonna fight this. No, shank's good. That's good. I need to put a washer on the front. But first of all, we're gonna have to roll this thing over probably, and let's take these fog lamps out real quick. It looks to me like it's a Torx bit. I'll show you here, and we'll get all this crap out in front of us. I'm going to take these fog lamps out. Bag these fog lamps, there's four screws in these. And I think they're Torx. I want to say they're Torx bits in here. Check real quick. You know what? It looks like they put a Phillips in here. I was almost positive that these used to be that these were a Torx bit, but appears they've changed those just to Phillips. Let me get a Phillips screwdriver real quick. Like just a regular Phillips on these, which is different. I thought I remembered these being a Torx, but I guess not. They have alignment holes. You got to use the actual mounts on these things, I believe. We'll check with it real quick when we get over here to that bumper. And we're going to have to use bolts instead of screws because they don't thread anything. So there's that. It's out 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, and 4 there. Okay, those 2 are out. We'll save these, but I know we won't use them because they just have dry holes for the deal. We'll screw it back in that area. So anyway, 2 fog lamps. Let me turn you around here. Okay, so we have holes back here. Roll this over. I'm putting something on here to keep these things from getting all messed up because they will. They are, the way that paint is, they're very fragile. Let's go up with this. Actually, this whole drain hole, these things, if you look, are the lens is upside down because you think there's a little drain hole in the bottom of these, a little back drain hole, and to me, you would want that down, obviously, to drain off moisture in case these things fill. So I'm going to go downward on this. And again, as everybody has complained on these things are not elongated enough to put them in. So we've got one of two things we can do here, because they have not cut these holes big enough. Yep. Anyway, there's a little piece that they have skin there. If you take, I took that off where they had cut it. They just kind of left some of the steel on, so we don't have to do a bunch of hogging on that to try to get it open. Again, I'm going to put this downward on this side, and we'll see how this thing fits. It also looks like, feels like the ring is too tight. We'll try to just give it a little wrap and get it in there and take off that powder coating. Frosted flake coating that they want to call powder coating. Get some of this crap out of our way. Okay, we'll go on ahead and bolt those in. We got the hardware for that. I think the hardware will be strong enough to at least hold fog lamps in. I think we'll be all right there. Let's see what we got. They may not even supply the hardware for those. Yeah, it looks like they did not supply any hardware with that, so we got to come up with our own hardware, I'm guessing. That's what it looks like, because I do not think, it may be, these may be big enough, but I'm doubting it, so I'll probably just do some self-tappers in there, run that in. They have existing holes, so it should be a big deal, but I just want to see here real quick. And no, the original hardware is not going to work for this, so I'm going to come up with some self-tappers real quick or throw those in. These are 1/2 inch, I mean 12 by whatever. You got plenty of room in front if you want to run something longer. But looks like that these 12s will possibly work. And if you line these up, they're kind of at an angle, the way these are drilled. I say they'll work. Okay. In the wrong hole. Let's get them down twice. If you just want to put 2 in, they'll probably hold it 2. But anyway, I'm going to run all 4. Get these in. As soon as we get these in, we can throw our bumper up, throw our bolts through, and I think we can do it by ourselves without having any assistance on this. I'm doing this the hard way. Obviously, you can throw a ratchet on here and run these in, but so I try to do these like everybody else when they're not, you don't have all the nice tools and special stuff to do it. Maybe you do have everything, which is good. And I definitely want to feel how these are going in, because this stuff is, you're going into steel, but there's plastic on top. I don't want to break these off. I don't want to break the screws off in here either, and then we're drilling and trying to get crap out of here. Sweating out here, everything's getting slick. Okay, I think we got them. Okay, so we're installed there, and now we got this. I think we go in with our bumper here. Our paint should be good and dry, and if you look, there's 4 holes on that front there. There's 4 holes in this. Set it up, line it up to that, run a couple bolts through these front hangers, and so we'll flip this around. We'll try to do this without tearing everything up. So as you know, this is great coating on here. And we just have our newly painted stuff here. Okay, so that's set on. It's going to have to go up. We can connect those lights. We should be able to get in. Yeah, we can get in and put those connectors in when we're getting closer done here. And I think I'm going to run without the bar. I don't know what you guys think that looks like, but I'll show you after we're done. But I do like these shorties, especially if you have a big tire or something that really looks good with the tire. We'll put a winch on here, and if you look on top of here, I can show you on here. If you look, this is bent. It came bent a little bit, but your fair lead's going to go on there, so it'll flatten that out. If it doesn't, I'll look at something tapping on that, but we should be fine the way it is. And then there's our winch mount with those 4 holes. And last time I ran an RC on this, which that's what I plan on doing here, I could reach underneath there just fine. There's where your front bar goes. Really putting that, we'll be able to mount it from below if we need to, but I'm kind of on the fence about, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm kind of on the fence about putting that bull bar on there. I mean, you're gonna have your winch up to it anyway, so it's going to occlude some of the air. I just don't know. I don't know if I really want to run a bar this time. We'll get to there. You guys can leave some comments, tell me what you want. We can always put it back on if we need to later. If we leave it off, we can always take it off if we put it on. That's a good thing. They're not, I mean, they're just, these, trust me, are for looks. There is no, you ain't gonna hook on there and yank on this thing because you'll tear it right off the bumper. It's definitely, the quality is not there on this, which, you know, that's more for keeping things off your nose more than tugging on it. If you have to tug on that, something's wrong. We'll get our light here so we can see something. And so when you get on here, what we're going to actually have to do is probably come up where the bolts are. I think. Yeah, that should be about right. You have to do multiple things here at once, obviously, which I'm not the best at. If you got somebody that can help you on this, it'd be a good idea. I am going to run a washer on the top of this. I know these are fat and look stupid, but I am going to run a washer on this. It does hang over the edge on this one. They had them so they don't. I'm just going to... Got hot and lost you there for a second. So anyway, we're going to run these up so we can see a hole, which is right in there. And at least try to get one of these started in here. Okay, I think we're there on that one. That went to home. And push up a little bit. Okay, there's two. That should start us on that side. You have to lift up just a little bit on these because they do come up off the bumper some. And the bolts I got, these are 1/2 by 3.5. I don't know if I mentioned that, but they are 1/2 by 3.5 grade 8s. So if it tears everything else off, at least these bolts will be there. And this one is a little bit off, but we do have some wiggle room, I think. Okay, that seems to be, we'll start 2 of these. At least putting it on the back side. I just got a lock washer and regular nuts. To do this, we get our creeper in here real quick. And same thing on these back sides. I mean, your bolts are just sticking through like the other ones had. They were just mounted on there. Versus this, we're sticking bolts through. We'll just want to start a couple of these so I don't drop this bumper off on the ground. We may anyway, but again, like I said, make sure your body's good and underneath here. That way it can soften the blow when it comes off the bumper here. Save the bumper, punish the body, you know. That's what we do at work every day anyhow. Sacrifice ourselves. Here, we don't want to tighten these things up because these things are so misaligned. You'll see underneath here, it's very, very easy to get to everything, which is nice. That's one good thing with running one of these. I'm just running a flat washer on the outside, lock on the inside. I thought about doing nylocks, but I'm not. These were by the pound at our local farm store, so, and lock nuts or not. We may run a couple of bolts through here. We may run those, if you can remember, those plates were on there, those backing plates. I'll show you here in just a second. And if we can get those on there, I mean, any strength that we can get in there and kind of disperse the pull if we do pull on these. Or these plates that were on those flat plates, we might run those. We'll run those too on the inside. That just disperses, gives a little more strength. Like, that's another trick. See how many things you can get on the ground to try to run your creeper through and everything. Whatever slows you down, that's what you want to do. And I think since most of our force is on the inside, I'm going to put those plates on the inside. And again, I'm just going to stick those on, stick the plate on, stick some lock washers. 3.5 gives us enough. I think we can do that. This bolt is way off. We may be able to turn that in. Let's see what size. We get a socket real quick and we'll run that in. You can see it's going in at an angle, so it's not, that hole's not true as far as where it is. We get a short, that'll be a 3/4 short. And we're just going to try to push this through. Get up close so we can get some leverage on it and try to turn this through here. Maybe it'll find its own hole here. I got a short socket, that way I can put some pressure behind this when I go in. And I think on these insides, which is the hardest part to get to, of course, but on these inside plates, I think is where I'm going to put that little backing bracket. Okay, so anyway, they lined up pretty good. A lot of people complain about how the bolt alignment is and everything else. I mean, my last one I didn't have trouble. This one I didn't have trouble. You know, I mean, it takes a little bit of, I mean, there's a little bit of finagling, I guess, but nothing. As long as you start everything loose. And remember, you want to hang this bumper up loose where you can align everything, but not only can you align everything, it puts the risk of it falling off on your face better. So, you know, you definitely want to do that. Anytime we can make this as dangerous as possible, that's what we want to do. I want to put that plate up in the inside, but if it's going to be too much of a, if it's going to give me too much crap, I'm not going to mess with it. I'll put it on the outside, not the inside. I think if I go from this angle, it will be better. And again, I'm just putting this plate up there for support on the inside of this. I think it'll give us a little more strength. I didn't put a lock washer on. Put that plate on. I'm going to put a couple of lock washers on this, and we'll snug her down. 1/2-inch bolt, so it's 3/4. Got our extra plate on there, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Bought these new bolts, but they're not. Thread on them's a little scratchy. I'm wanting to I'm just putting these down like this, the plate on the inside too. I mean, it doesn't matter. I just figure all your pull strength, the closer you can get with the most strength, the best, because it's going to be pulling from the center. It's going to try to pull that center out in both things. So I figure the outside will take less than that. The more surface area we can cover on this, the stronger it'll be. The reality is with this bumper, it'll be, if you're pulling anything too solid, it's going to be inverted anyway. So, but if it does the trick, a lot of times that one time's worth everything. So it's kind of like 4-wheel drive. Everybody says they don't need it, unless you're off-road like we do off and on. Everybody says you don't need it until that one time you do need it. You know, it's not worth the money. Well, waiting for hours out, if there is anybody, and then a $1,000 tow job on a couple $1,000 ad plus the chance of doing it again. You could have paid $2,000 for 4-wheel drive. Basically, doesn't work out for me. But so anyway, we're on there. Go ahead and torque this down, like I said, 1/2 inch. Or 3/4, excuse me, on a 1/2 inch bolt. 3/4-inch wrench, ratchet with a 3/4. Got an extension if we need it. This might be a little bit tricky on this, just to get these to pull down where they're at, but for the most part, go ahead and snug them down to decide to turn on us. Okay, top. Like I said, with these new bumpers like this makes this job nice. Yeah, quite a bit of room, and this rear top, I mean, it's going to have more stuff on it. You know, with the sway bar disconnect and everything, you lose some room in here. And I got plenty. They have thought about that. Incentive is pretty good where you can get to things. Now, as far as getting the fog lamps and doing that crap, you know, do it before you put it on, because you ain't going to get to them after. Because they are buried in there. Okay, guys, well, this is our bumper. We do have it on. It's torqued down. I don't know what you think of it. Jeep bumper looks pretty good though. Fog lights are plugged in. We do have fog lights now, which is nice. Factory fog lights anyhow. And I know you guys are gonna ask me first, you're gonna say, you know, what did you torque those bolts to? Well, I can tell you, it was 2 good grunts and a silent fart is about how far I went on that. I didn't go 2 silent farts because you know that second one sometimes can be disastrous, but just 2 good grunts and that, and that's about where you want. They're 1/2-inch bolts. Just give them a good twist. And you might check them after a while, after everything flattens out, flexes a little bit. And another thing, if you guys know out there, I have to keep stopping this video because this thing gets, this GoPro, I mean, the thing gets frying hot. It gets frying hot on me, shuts off, and I have to wait a second and do it again. I can't just keep on going. I know you're gonna say that, well, maybe you should go faster and you know, talk less. Well, that's true too, but it gets hot. It gets hot on me and then shuts off. I don't know if you guys have a clue what's going on with it. I've tried changing settings and everything, but I'd like to go through and just keep video. Everything takes so darn long because you know, not only am I going through and doing that, I'm not good with any of that stuff to start with, but the thing keeps on getting hot and shutting off on me. So you guys have any ideas or know how to resolve this? It's a GoPro, I think it's a 13 that I got for, gets freaking red hot, kills batteries quickly. I've tried to take off the GPS, tried to take off the Wi-Fi part of it. But if you guys have any idea, because I definitely do not know what I'm doing on this stuff, as you can tell. Anyway, if you can, leave a comment, tell me what's going on, and tell me what you think about this old bumper, and I can give you information on where to get it, or excuse me, it's Amazon, on which one it was if you're interested. And we have this bar here. We may or may not put this on. We're definitely going to get our winch put on there, and you guys can tell me what you think. I mean, we can always put it on, we can always take it off. Not a big deal. I'm going to leave it off for now. One, because it's a little more fun. You can still reach your hand underneath here. These front bolts are fun once you already have it on. So I probably should have done it beforehand, but I kind of wanted the look of the Shorty without that stuff. You're going to have your winch. That's going to kind of give you that. And this bar, in my opinion, does absolutely nothing. I mean, it may keep a limb or two off the front, but other than that. That pretty much concludes this. Hope you guys like this video all right. If you would, please like and subscribe so I can try to get going here, give you guys some good stuff, and you can send me ideas on what to do, and not even on this. I mean, we can start doing some other vehicles and stuff. I just want to kind of get through this one. Want to show all these JK and Jeep guys and stuff that you know, don't be scared of this stuff. People are new in, you know, you have these, you just got into the Jeeping thing, and also gives me room for people to tell me some stuff too that I need to know. So thanks for watching Turning 4 here, and I'll get back to you and we'll get that winch in and get it on. That'll be our next video.